Hello, everyone, and welcome to another one of our Menopause Strategy Sessions, where we have real conversations with experts who are helping women thrive in midlife. And today I'm excited because I have my first male guest. I am interviewing Mr. Simon Salt, who is a certified menopause coach as well as an author. And we're going to have an interesting conversation from the male perspective. And I'm so excited to welcome you, Simon.
Thank you for having me.
So let's dive in. I want to tell our fans how we met first, just to let people know that LinkedIn does work, people. Sometimes you don't always have to slide into someone's Instagram DMs. You can meet great people on LinkedIn, and that's how Simon and I met. And I read about him and his bio and his really unique perspective on males' role in helping women during this time in their lives. And that's what I really want to talk about, as well as, if you're open to it, Simon, some of your own story and why this is so very important to you. So
absolutely.
let's dive in. Go ahead and tell us why you feel this way about men's roles in helping the women in their lives with menopause.
So my story starts about 8 years ago when my wife went into perimenopause, and she spent 4 years being dismissed by doctors, told it was UTIs, told it was bad diet, told it was lack of exercise. It was normal sleep loss. It was aging, all of the usual reasons for being rejected and not using the word perimenopause. And she gradually became more and more frustrated, obviously, with that because, she was told things like her labs were normal. Well, she didn't feel normal. And that started to impact our relationship, obviously. She doesn't feel herself. She's not going to feel like being attentive to me. And so intimacy in terms of physical and emotional started to decline. So I see that as a breakdown in our relationship. And it's not her, right? Because her labs are normal. The doctors are saying it's not her. So it must be me. I must be doing something wrong in our relationship for our relationship to start to break down. And I think this is very common for men to personalize and internalize and center themselves. Men are typically centered in society. Women defer, and society imposes that deference on women that, men should be the middle and women should play ancillary and supportive roles. I agree with that. But that tends to be the way society is, certainly in the West. So I took that on board and, I withdrew because I'm like, well, okay, it's me, then I need to go be somewhere else. I shouldn't be doing this. There's something going on here that I'm not aware of. So after 4 years, she finally found a doctor that said, this is perimenopause. All of these things are connected. It's one thing. It's not disparate things. It's just one thing called perimenopause.
And might I say that she is lucky that it only took 4 years for her to find that doctor, right?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And I think that was a big turning point for her. She is very practical. She's a researcher. And so she started to dig in and, find out as much as she could about perimenopause. And along the way, relate some of that to me. Still didn't make me understand it. Still didn't make me understand how that infected me because I'm still centering. I'm still personalizing. I'm still internalizing at that stage.
So can we go back just a little bit? And so you said it's 4 years before she really found somebody that can help her. But your relationship is changing in those 4 years.
Absolutely.
So what is that beginning to look like in that relationship between the two of you?
Emotional withdrawal, I would say, is the biggest issue. We talk about people becoming roommate and conversations becoming logistical.
Yes.
And that's very much how our relationship went. And that was what was impacting me, the fact that we were becoming roommates and that conversations weren't about our relationship. We weren't trying to talk this through and fix it at this stage because we didn't have language. You didn't know what was broken. You can't fix it if you don't understand what's going on.
Right.
And as a man, we're typically fixers and solution providers. So I'm reaching and looking for, how do I fix this? How do I make it better? What's the solution? And there isn't one. And especially when you don't have language, especially when you don't understand what's going on.
Right.
I think that's very true. So that's really where our relationship had gone in those 4 years.
So was it a point where you thought this might be a place where we can bring somebody in, perhaps speak to a therapist, or were you still thinking this is something that I'm going to try to fix on my own?
Definitely the latter. I was in, and still am, in therapy. And so I was trying to use my therapy to fix us.
Ah, and how did that work out?
Not very well, as you can probably imagine.
And so in this period of time, in the 4 years, you guys seem to be existing. You were
Hmm.
still living in the same home. You were still
Yeah.
married,
Hmm.
and all the things, and you were cordial to each other, but there was
Absolutely.
an obvious mountain that was growing in between the two of you.
Yes.
And she's probably feeling worse physically and emotionally.
Absolutely.
And you are probably feeling, I'm going to use the term failure. Were you feeling like as a man you were failing at this miserably?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because, like I said, there's no solution, there's no fix. I can't do anything. So, what's my role? And I think a lot of men experience that, like loss of identity. Well, that's my role in this relationship. I provide solutions, I provide fixes. I can't do any of those. I don't know what's going on, so I can't fix it. So,
Right.
yeah, absolutely. I was feeling very much like a failure in this relationship. I didn't feel like I was providing my wife with what she needed and wanted as a husband. And
Right.
I didn't know why I wasn't.
Right. And I think that that is probably the situation with so many couples, and just not having the right words and the feelings to come together and even have that first conversation. And then it happens for years and years. But for you guys, it was around 4. Then she found this wonderful doctor. You had words to describe. The symptoms
Mhm.
started to make sense because there were words to describe those symptoms.
Not straight away.
Not straight away. Okay, so tell me about that.
No. So I wish after 4 years it all resolved nicely and we could put a bow on it. No, definitely not. As I said, even though I now have started to have language like hot flashes and night sweats and sleep disturbance, all of these things, they were symptoms. That didn't affect me. How does that affect me?
I got you.
That's symptoms that she's having. How's
Right.
that impacting our relationship? I still wasn't joining the dots. And
That's
that's where the
impactful.
big problem was. Yeah. So that continued for about another 18 months of me still kind of not getting it. Still, and I totally take the
But what was going
responsibility.
on? Why weren't you getting it?
I don't know. Honestly, when I look back, I'm like, how did you not understand? How did you not put the dots together and see this is what was impacting a relationship? And eventually we hit a turning point. And as I said, my wife is very practical. She's very grounded. We do not argue. We have a rule. We do not argue in this house. I am very emotional led. So if she sees me getting emotional about something, she will ask that we take a moment before we carry on. So she doesn't do the calm down. It's just, let's have a moment to kind of look at where we're both coming from and see how we come together. So we were having a conversation about this. I don't remember exactly the conversation, but I remember what happened. The conversation started to get heated on her side as well as mine. And in the end, she threw her bottle of medication at me.
Did you
And
catch it, Simon?
I
Did you
was,
catch it?
no. No, I was too stunned. I was so surprised. This is not her.
Right.
This is definitely not her. And it's probably not me either. So what is it? And that for me, when I look back on it, that could have been a breaking point or a bridge point. And fortunately for us, it was a bridge point. It was somewhere where I could cross over and start to see this from her perspective. And what I realized then was what I had was a list of symptoms. What I didn't have was a lived experience.
Mhm.
And I try and get this across to men. Yes, you absolutely need to educate yourself. Absolutely. You cannot go through this blindly. And it is not your partner's place to educate you. They have enough going on in their life that they don't need the extra emotional and mental load to educate you. You need to do that work. Having said that, the best source of your education is going to be the partner in front of you. And I talk about this with men. Sit, listen, believe. Sit down with them. Find a time where you can actually talk, not over dinner, not during chores, not at bed, just time where you can sit down and talk and then listen actively. Don't just wait for your turn to speak. And lastly, believe what she's saying. Doesn't matter if it doesn't match up with that latest blog post you read or that TikTok video you watched. Doesn't matter. All of that is irrelevant. That's noise. What matters is how does a hot flash impact her? What does me ick mean for dinner? What do itchy ears feel like?
Yeah.
All of those things. You might read about them, but they mean nothing unless you actually have somebody to relate to. So 18 months ago, I started to do my own research, start to do my own education. She was still sort of sending me articles every now and then. I'd read those, but I was doing my own work. And then August last year, I said to her, I'm going to write a book about this because nobody should be going through what I went through. No couple should be going through what we went through. This needs to be written about. And I've written 3 books in the past on marketing, but I understand the book publishing process.
Mhm.
So I knew what I was taking on when I said, I'm going to write a book about this. This wasn't a pipe dream. And then January, I discovered Substack, started writing there to test my ideas and gradually been formulating ideas since then, and incorporating the research I do.
That's amazing. I mean, and to think that really the person that could help you the most in understanding this was sitting in front of you the entire time from the
Mhm.
very beginning. And it
Yes,
just took a change in your perspective and how you looked at her
yes,
to educate yourself and really begin to understand that lived experience.
exactly.
So once you started doing that, I know there's got to be some funny parts to this conversation when you start to understand what these wacky symptoms were doing. How did that change your relationship from what we talked about before to hopefully where you are right now, which I'm guessing is a much better place?
It's a much, much better place. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was in therapy, and that helped me a lot because it helped me process what I was learning.
Mm-hmm.
My therapist is a woman, so she was able to bring the female perspective as well into what I was evolving through and what I was learning. So there's that in terms of learning. But in terms of the amusing part is the avoidance of mansplaining. When you start to learn, and I think this is true of anybody learning anything, but it's especially for me, is see one, do one, teach one. That's how I've always preferred to learn things. And so now I'm there sending my wife articles, and she's like, thank you. Yes, I know. What else have you found?
Yeah, she's known for a long time and she's been trying to tell you and you're
Exactly.
listening.
Yeah.
Yes. We know, Simon, we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I will say that has now evolved because I'm doing a lot more clinical research. So I'm looking at clinical papers
Mm-hmm.
and I subscribe to PubMed and papers, sources like that where I get recent research. And I'm sort of incorporating that into my education for men. But I do send her articles. Now she's like, that's also perimenopause. And I'm like, yeah, it is. So it's not that the tables have turned. We are now educating each other. We're in this together. And I think that would be where I'd say our relationship has gone now. It's not a her thing. It's not a me thing. It's something we are facing together as a life stage. And that's how we cope with it. And as, without trying to Again, mansplain. But like every woman in perimenopause, she doesn't know who she is when she wakes up that day. That's something I had to adjust to.
Facts.
I have to learn to accept that it's not her being difficult or deciding this is who she's going to be.
Yes.
This is who she is that day or that hour, and take a step back and look at what's going on here. What are we really seeing? And take it that way rather than this is a personal attack on me, which is where I was.
I have to give you I have to give you a cut for that. Yes. That is actually the perfect spot for you to be in. And I must say, I gotta know, Simon, why didn't you think that her having night sweats was not going to impact her as a person? Because if she's not sleeping and she's waking up and she's sweating and she's irritable, why was that connection not being transferred there?
This is Texas.
Oh, this is okay, fair.
We're all hot at night.
Okay.
What is the solution? Bring another fan into the room, turn the AC down, because we weren't making that connection of, this is, and without getting into specific numbers, but just to quote one study, 1 in 4 men don't make connections between symptoms and perimenopause.
Yeah.
25% of us don't do that.
Well, I'm glad that you are not one of the 1 in 4, Simon.
Not now.
Not now.
I definitely was.
So now that we've talked about sort of like this transition and where you are in a much better place, and the fact that you are proactively learning, how are you having conversations with the men that you know? And how can you help them get to where you are?
So, I mean, yeah, that's a good question. How do I get them to where I am? I think that's a journey they have to take on their own, and be willing to take that journey. I don't think that's a journey you can lead people on. I think what you can do is inform them. And that's what I really try and do. And I try and take 2 things. One is definitely your best source of information is the woman in front of you. That's where you start.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to supplement that information with other information. And I look to myself, and there are other male voices in the space who are trying to do similar things, where you take complex medical information that is designed either for clinicians or for women, that is broken down for women, which it should be, because we need more information for women primarily, but then try and translate that for men as well. Because even as a man, have read a lot of information designed for women, I then have to switch gears into how does that impact my relationship? Not how does that impact her? Because it isn't just about her. It is her symptoms and her experience, but we together are experiencing the ripples. This doesn't stop with her. It impacts everything that she does in her life. It doesn't stop at the front door when she goes to work. It doesn't stop when she goes out to the grocery store. It doesn't stop when she interacts with her family. It just goes out from the woman. It ripples out across her life experience. And so that's some of the things that I try and explain to other men is this isn't something happening in isolation. It isn't happening to just your partner. It isn't happening to just you. And it isn't happening to just you as a couple. You're not alone in this.
Absolutely. And would you say that the way you explain that also work for sons who might still be at home living with a mom that is going through perimenopause as well?
I'll be honest, I haven't spoken with children yet, or young people yet. My focus has been on partners, but I have encountered several women who are educating their sons as young as 6 on the entire spectrum of female health, which I think is amazing. And I think that's absolutely where we should be doing. Don't wait until they're in their 20s and
Right.
maybe having relationships of their own.
Yes.
Start them young, talk to them about their sisters, their mothers, their aunts, their cousins who are women who are going to go through various stages: puberty, menstruation, menopause, aging, all of those things. I think those are really important conversations to be having with young men.
Yeah, and don't forget about pregnancy and then postpartum.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that happens, for some women, over and over again. And
Yeah.
we also don't talk about that phase right after that baby is born as well.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think these are really important conversations to have with young men, not just with men my age and younger. I think it's really important that all men are educated in women's health. And I say this I've said this in the past, I say this to people. I don't view the menopause transition as a woman's issue. I think it's a human issue.
Yes. Another clap for that. Yes. Yes, we get the clap for that too. Yes. Agree.
And I think once we start seeing it that way, once people start seeing this as a human issue, we start educating everybody and everybody benefits. And ultimately, women's lives get easier. And that's the end game. I mean, that's the goal. Why are we doing all of this? Why are any of us in this space? It's
Absolutely.
because we feel something about the situation that women are currently in, and we see that that isn't right, and we want to change that.
Absolutely. Oh, I love this. So before we close out, Simon,
Mhm.
as we have a lot of female viewers for these menopause strategy sessions, what would you say would be maybe the three takeaways? What can she do today to begin those conversations with her partner to get to a place potentially where you are?
So the first thing I would say is don't wait for them to initiate.
Mm-hmm.
And coming back to statistics, 73% of men said they want to have those conversations. 73% of women said they initiate those conversations.
Okay. Okay. So take the first.
So
Okay.
yeah, don't wait for the man to, and the reason is because he's frightened of saying the wrong thing. He's frightened of doing the wrong thing. And that's a big stumbling block for a lot of men is fear.
Mhm.
So acknowledge that fear in your partner. And then secondly, don't feel like you have to do it all.
Yeah.
You're not there as their educator. You're not parenting them. So encourage them instead. Find things, find resources, self-promotion like mine, but like other male voices
Yes.
in the space and say, go watch this, go listen to this, go read this, because it will help you understand me. And if you understand me, it helps our relationship. And I don't think any man wants to live in a relationship that is unhealthy.
Right.
I think we all, as couples, want to live in healthy relationships. I think anybody's looking to live in an unhealthy relationship.
No, I don't think so.
So I think encouraging men to find sources and maybe introducing them to one or two, but not feeling like it's your job to provide them with everything so that they understand. That isn't the right thing. And then the lastly is learn to step back. This is one of the big ones that I've come across is
Okay.
there is a lot of emotional load being put on a woman in this phase of life. And there is a reduction in her willingness to accept more of that.
Mm-hmm.
So encourage the men in your life to step in, but do that by stepping back. Allow them to make mistakes. They will make mistakes. They are not going to load the dishwasher the way you do it. Doesn't mean it's wrong. Step back. Allow them to come forward. One of the examples I give to men who say, oh, well, I help. I go grocery shopping. And one of the things I bring up is, yes, that's great. Did you check the pantry? Did you check the fridge? Did you meal plan? And did you, from all of that, write the grocery list? And that thing that you took to the store, because that's what went on behind it. Step in, but at the same time, allow the fact But when you step back, he's going to forget things. He's going to miss things off the grocery list that you would have put on. It happens. So allow for each other to make those mistakes.
Yes, I agree. Absolutely 100%. It was such a pleasure to talk to you, Simon. I love your perspective. I love the work that you're doing. And put that shameless plug in there. Tell us, where can we find your work?
At the Quiet Transition.
At the Quiet Transition. Okay.
Quiеттransition.com.
Okay. We will link that at the bottom of the video. And you do write on Substack.
I do.
And you
And
are
that's where that link goes to. It goes to my Substack.
okay.
Yeah.
And you're on LinkedIn. And you're
on LinkedIn, YouTube.
You're
all
everywhere.
The places. All the places.
So do you have sessions? Do you hold sessions specifically for men?
So what I'm in the process of doing is actually setting up a space. Initially, it's going to be very limited, probably 8 to 12 men, where they can come with questions, where they can come with experiences, and actually exchange information together, rather than me sitting there as oh, I know all the answers. Just listen to me, because I don't know all the answers.
Yeah.
I have one lived experience. Bringing all these men together with their lived experiences helps them understand more. So that's something I'm working on at the moment. And one of the things I should clarify, yes, I'm a certified menopause coach. No, I do not coach women.
But you got that certification because you wanted information to help your wife. You wanted to learn.
Yes, I wanted the background, and I wanted to be able to make informed conversations.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Kudos to you. I mean, you are doing such great work, and we appreciate it. And we do want the men in our lives to step in, to listen, and to really be a part of this journey with us.
Yeah.
And past perimenopause too, all the way over to the postmenopause side.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is ongoing work.
Yes, it is ongoing, important work.
Yes.
It
is.
So thank you so much. Again, I will have all of the information about you listed below this video. And everybody, check him out. He's got a fresh new perspective that we women love. So thank you again, Simon.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.